Oh, yeah. As you get older, it takes a little longer, like cover. Definitely don't recover. That's what I'm used to. In the name of God. It's like
I only sent it to like 80. They scratch and sniff. Are they scratch and sniff at least? No.
I think so. Right now, everybody's reason for two interest rates are going to be. And then we'll go. Some.
I started knowing back there.
Oh,
Okay. But I didn't see that you went here.
okay, no, I got you. We should be able to just combine.
The executives ran a company into a wall.
Pardon me?
I said the executives ran the company into a bit of a wall.
I'm not gonna say there's some trouble there, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, it's all been.
Good, yeah, good. Day here.
Not just everybody is. Holding it tight.
I don't know. I figured it out.
Long dad?
So. The new place?
New place right now.
Are you actually there or?
I'm there. I'm actually there. I'm sitting inside the trailer.
Okay.
Catch all the horse, books all the longer and they chase out of the place. Yeah, it's only back.
Making sure they give me a lot of documentation. Okay, so,
No, the public, once they build it, they're gone.
yeah, they're gone now.
That was just one. But I've had some interesting.
They're not gonna show it.
How's it going? Good, man.
So it's personal opinion.
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have more trouble with the higher chasing. Getting the bugs out of that sucker. You know, it took
The wide
almost 2 years to do it.
Oh,
putting all their.
I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's better now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So,
today, like I broke.
so the stuff that had, so the one that had in the hospital, the one that didn't work, right? So they didn't bring that over.
Yeah, that can't be.
They put out, yeah, somewhere over is like people on home for the insurance. So,
Oh, you're right. Okay. It's not a robot. Oh, absolutely. You're running mobiles.
Yeah.
Bring it out to the end. And then what's going to put out.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why when it's raised
Yep,
too,
yep,
you
yep,
know,
About the area of the house and-
It was very nice. Shitty house and bad.
It's doing good. So all the cows are all, use all types of cows there.
Oh, okay, so they, so.
Yeah. Anywhere. No, he won't leave. He's more like that. He's not shying away from any issue.
Yeah.
And a lot of
So taking the bull by the horns and throwing straight at it.
It's like.
Yeah. I haven't been.
I don't know, because they said.
The process is,
Oh, really? Yeah.
they got the filler and all that stuff there. They grants, the people have seen, all the, I told them we should, and right up on, I called them LPR, they're all. Oh, really? That will be. We didn't come online, so. So we are. Pull down talk this month. So I like to, he loved it down. So education was not a common.
So are you working with Garrett Curtis as well?
Yeah. How's everything going for you guys?
And he's TSM for sometimes it's kind of like days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, that existing. I maybe get the shot.
No, I know.
Exactly. There's nothing he doesn't know. That's the question. You gotta give, I hired a step up. So, one, the map. Well, I mean, you know, Stan is gonna be fine. You know, Renee's been there 87, 12 hours. Like his only job, one of the guys on B shift, only job is so I mean, when you start to lose that institutional knowledge, the generation behind them better be ready, so. Yeah. Jason was a whole. Yeah, we are right.
You see what I'm saying? Well, yeah, you know, it actually, like, great things. That's why. Good.
Yes. Trying to take care of it. I got
Tony told me about the restaurant.
The pizza, so I'm like, the operator thing, have to go there tomorrow. And something like that. Like, I'll make it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and kind of do it right along with those guys.
No, actually, no. Yeah, that's.
You're going guys to the.
Well, no, that's a good one. Good.
How's everything going?
I'm so good. I got.
Yeah, that's good.
Burning out.
It should.
And it's all for the people to believe that.
I haven't seen it. Yet. I've worked on the order stuff like that. I need to light all relationships. It's not really what I'm doing. We'll give for you. Put it all right. Put a Ethan coordinator on That's, I don't. No, coming down.
Yeah, I can do it.
So, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to it.
San Lorenzo.
Oh, you got. Right. So then once we go 1 year, right, so there will be all the test points that out and all that, we fairly well. I said all the. I got Frank that was. He's operating for 2 years. Yeah, the guy on the team that he operated for 2 years. The guy from that. He operated for about 4 years. Only operated. He said just babysitting. But the system they're in. It's just no production. The plant the production. Yeah. They're building the plant right now, but that so the machine is separate. Just like the American. Everything but robots. In here, yeah.
Turn the heat down, but I mean, it's 80 down.
How you been, Dave? Trying to get the other ones done. Bobby's there. Then they're like, they should do some engineering. That's ours. That's this is their and they're only having one more. Yeah.
So good evening, everyone. Today, we're gonna be opening up a Cornell Hermetic pump. The volute and the impeller aren't here with it because this is a pump that was damaged at another facility. We're just gonna open it up. We're gonna show you guys how they're built, how the process of rebuild, and everybody will get an opportunity to take a look at that. The hermetic pumps are the safest pumps there are in the industry, whether they are Hansen, Cornell, TQ, Nikiso, they are the safest pumps in the industry. However, control logic is extremely important. Pump cavitation is extremely important. How you ramp up the suction pressure is extremely important. 1 PSI per minute. You go faster than that, pump will cavitate. 6 cavitations in 1 hour, you take the risk of burning the pump up. So you have to have a good program in order to manage the pump, but they will last forever if you take care Oil in the system, it does not like it. 8 ounces of oil in a low temp system, the impeller will float and it'll damage the pump. So oil management is a serious deal with hermetic pumps. So Kodey Belvoir is one of our journey level technicians. He's gonna tear the pump apart. He's gonna explain what's going on. And we have a manual here that, when it comes to some critical items, we'll be able to pull that up and let you guys see what's going on. Okay? Thanks, Kodey.
How's it going, guys? So I'm Cody, as Dan said. First off, this pump does not have the impeller on it. Normally what you'll do is you'll set up a dial indicator on something magnetic and you'll check the in-play. You're looking for like 45 thousandths is the ideal amount of in-play that the pump should have. We can't check that tonight because I have nothing to pull the shaft out with. What you'll start off doing is you'll take off all these bolts around the outside here. I already took them all out. And there's 2 jacking holes right here in the front. So you'll do that and it'll pop out this front bearing cover. You can see the graphite bearing in here. This one looks like it's still in good condition. We'll set this off to the side for now. Pull the sleeve off the end of the rotor stator. Then you'll come to the back. You'll pull off the rear bearing cover. Sometimes this back bearing cover is a little harder to get off. You have to wiggle it back and forth a little bit.
Hey, think we can get it in front and center, and maybe we can film with one of that.
Yeah. Upside. Sideways. Okay. So sometimes this rear bearing cover is a little tougher to get off. Just wiggle a little bit and then pull out. Then you have another bearing in the back. They're held in with a set screw. Now should be able to pull out of the back. And see what that looks like. Oil.
Sorry, I didn't come out of good spirit.
Just in case.
This is what this looks like. You got a locking tab on the back. Take that bolt out of the back. Pretty heavy also. Then this piece will come off right here. And it's important with this piece right here, there's a shiny side and a dull side. And the shiny side is going to be facing the bearing. Just how a normal seal would be on the Cornell 2CV pump with the shiny sides on the stationaries. Just face the seal. Same for this side. Shiny side will be facing the bearing. And do you want to take all of it completely down?
Well,
and test this?
I do want to talk about these bearings. These actually look pretty good. But when we're replacing the bearings, it's pretty critical how we're taking care of them, and I'll have him, you're gonna remove one and reinstall it, right?
Yeah.
And, set of bearings about $4,000. So it's expensive. And if we don't do it right and we break them, you're buying another one set. And, that's rough.
Okay, so for removing the bearing, you loosen the set screw here, grab an Allen, I'll do that. Generally, you can't just pull them out. You have to heat them up, nap gas torch, put a little heat on there and pull them out. It should come out pretty easy after doing that.
Everything is inserted, yeah, and it goes down, or is there a seat to it?
So you put it back together, you'll push, and you'll fill it seat. The rear bearing actually has shims in the back behind the bearing, and that's how you set the in play. When you put it back together, you measure the in play before you take it apart, right? And then generally you'll put the exact same amount of shims back in it when you put it together, and you'll remeasure again with new bearings. And if you have to add one or take one out, you have to pull the rear bearing cover off, pull the bearing, behind that bearing is shims.
How are you measuring in plane?
With
Inches or mine?
dial indicator,
Dial indicator, okay. What's the measurement?
45 thousandths. Oh, see, this one's gonna pop out, so that's nice. Oh, this is actually a used pump. Not taken apart yet. So this is what the bearing looks like, feels like. I'll pass it around. You guys can feel it. Right here is a little tab. So when you set the set screw, you want to put the tab on there, or it'll crack the bearing.
Does that lock the bearing in from spin or locks it in position?
It locks it in position.
Okay, not to keep it from spinning.
No.
What's the torque spec for that?
I will have to look at the manual for that because all these pumps are different torque specs per model. So I don't remember them all. But we do have a good manual I can pass around for everybody that can look at it. It tells you a list of what models and what screw size, bolt size, and the torque for that. So that's the disassembly of it. It's quick, pretty easy. We can get into reassembly here in a little bit.
So used pump. There's a little bit of washboarding. Is that normal?
I don't, no.
No?
No.
Yeah, we won't test those.
It should be smooth all the way through here. It's
You
just
feel the bumps?
in the back of it. Yeah.
So that's typical of cavitation. Pump will start rattling in there and it just destroy itself. And this one here is probably $15,000 pump. So they're pretty expensive. That's why we have it, because you can't fix it. It's not worth fixing.
Question about the torque specs.
How many words the order?
It's hermetic. This is a 5-horse. Generally, the amp draw is a little bit unique. This one's okay. This one says it's 8 amps. You get into some different horsepowers and the amp draw doesn't make perfect sense. Like you'd see on a regular open drip motor. Kodey, I want you to kind of go over the bearing wear indicator with these guys too.
Okay.
And then maybe they can come up, take a look at that. You got a screwdriver so I can pop that cover up?
I was looking for the torque spec on there, so I could answer that guy's question, but
So there's one that's
for the impeller.
operation manual and the other is not sure.
So this is the bearing indicator. When you first start these pumps up, you're supposed to fill them full of liquid. And either the pump will fully frost or give it 20 minutes. When you check the rotation on this, this is gonna be your tell of it. Unless it's on a VFD, it's a little different on a drive. Sometimes the drive won't actually go clear into the red. It'll hit that middle ways of the yellow. So on a normal starter, if it's backwards, it'll peg into the red. And if your rotation's right, it'll be in the green. And then as time goes on, this bearing will monitor the wear of the bearings. And as it hits the yellow, it's time to start looking at changing the bearings before you can ruin the pump. So if everybody hasn't seen one of these before, they can come up and take a look at this stuff. They can look at the bearing indicator, they can look at the bearing inside the pump. Feel free to do that.
So that one should have a contact in it or a heater element in it so that it opens up if the motor gets too hot.
Yeah,
So what does this go based off of? So like an dial indicator kind of measuring the play?
I actually don't know quite the magnetic. It's like magnetic.
That's what
Magnetism.
That's not what I expect. Not a real hands-on guy.
You know, it's gonna wait till I'm good, then I can find my art.
Exposed.
What is that? When it says washboarding, what does he mean by the washboarding?
Freshly pulled out.
So if you feel like towards like the rear of the pump, you'll still, it's all bumpy.
Oh, okay, so it's not necessarily just these small scratches here, but you'd have to feel the surface.
Yeah, you'll feel it's like,
And then you,
like towards the end of the pump, you'll feel it washboarded.
interesting.
That's just because when it's cavitating, the impeller is not actually pumping liquid, it's sitting there just vibrating and wearing grooves.
I like it.
That's pretty good. That's not like. You know what that's made out of? That's carbon. Wow.
It's really light. So we drop it. Again, brings it out. You know,
Oh, wow. It's essentially like graphite.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, being a hard fire.
You're doing a great job.
So I'd like to try and invite one of those Ford Midwest guys right there at the table to reassemble a bearing. I think they are the well, Antonio has hermetic pumps. Nobody else does this. So Antonio's from Research. Yeah, and these fellows right up here in front are from Ford Midwest. where
does not.
Joe Chamberlain used to work. And I have them use they have the tab.
Even with that new setup.
Just pick.
Sometimes the people.
Hey, it's Cody. I think I'd like to have a Belvoir. Hey, what you have?
I think that has more to do with. You guys have. We have to do.
Yes, no.
I mean, it generally depends on how they diagnose it. I mean, I've been at Lamb 2 years and anytime like that, it's probably 2 years where they say, oh, it's bad. I just chop it off. Right in the middle bit. Put in a new one. Yeah. I mean, I don't mind assembling this. Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm just saying it's $4,000 less. This one does.
Is that actual? Yeah, it's kind of rough, like a little bit like.
We have communication.
Of, yeah, of the land. As it rotates, the liquid's being pulled through.
I think a lot of it is just the way.
Standard doesn't look like it's got anything on it.
It just, like he was saying, at the beginning of the presentation, so it's that sense.
I gotta wipe it, see.
Little cavitation and it's dead. No.
Looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't feel anything.
Still got well,
Oh, yeah, the well.
that could come like that.
I don't know. It sure doesn't look like it's been overheating. Because usually you'll see like, you on.
Oh, like this time.
Yeah. I've seen that when the guys are taking stuff apart, and I'm like, wow. There was one, I think it was Morgan. There was one that came back and we just didn't do anything with it for a while. We did the inspection, the whole point was back. So like, there was no point in sending it out. Yeah.
You said commerce, there's a lot like it. You're right.
Definitely important to have it.
My last plant, we had some York. Recent compressors that did it in the 1940s. They were a little scary when we started too. They finally phased them out. I mean, when I first started there, we were like 8. Right, but that was a previous. Yeah. So no research.
It's
I think probably number 6. It keeps shutting down on high low, it's doing that. It's a thermal size. I was told that one of the issues we have is that the oil coolers are undersized. And it seems like some of them get more liquid than others. Well, the high oil tank, is what it generally shuts down. The discharge temperature, as you would expect. I mean, it's, that machine, I think it shuts, I think the oil temperature shut down is 175. And, the discharge temperature is like. And so, I mean, it generally, the oil will shut it down. It runs hot. I mean, it runs 11, 14 consistently. You know what I mean? It's no, until the oil gets too low.
I pulled all of them out of there.
No, it's a GEA compressor. Yeah, all of them are, yeah, all of them are. And then they're controlled by the GEA. Which time I saw one of those was, we started installing our engine room in, Westwood Seafoods in Alaska, where I started. You got your.
Some in there.
I already filled one of these out.
Oh, that, well, you fill that one.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'll give you the
I
whole.
want to get yeah, but my problem. Okay, you was there.
Somebody gonna, one of them wanna get with you?
No,
No? Yeah, why? You don't wanna try it?
Hey, Jane. Yeah, I know,
I'm the one that's not.
Antonio. Antonio.
oh,
You see what I'm saying? I'm gonna get somebody to do
it
this.
doesn't. Beautiful. Thank you.
how's it going?
Good. So, we have two pumps, but I never took it apart.
Yep, so we'll start with putting the bearing back in.
Uh-huh.
Whenever
It's
we're
got lined up with the.
Yeah, you lined it, you just wanna line the lock
Don't
tab
forget your.
up with the set screw.
Line one,
You gotta get it. Once you get it started, it generally slides in pretty easy.
yeah.
But sometimes it likes to hang up a little bit, be a pain in the ass. Gotta get it perfect.
We basically been running both pumps to maintain the adequate pumping.
Here's a subcooler. Yeah.
It should never be in the liquid in this.
No, this is all sealed, so around here it's actually. It works. It'll actually spin the stator.
The other two, the other. Holding up and they're not cantilevered. Correct.
That one, it was like, I don't know.
I heard that they recommend when you have two pumps, one pump a month,
Yeah.
another one, 2 months, 3 months, but not
Not
at the same
time,
time.
or, yeah, really one off, 2 months. Yeah, so generally we're leaving, once a month or so, run the other half for a couple of weeks. We can over the next couple of weeks, and that's what's over. And then before you start it up, it's a good practice to drain the oil on the bottom of it. There'll be a valve on the bottom of the actual. There'll be a valve on the bottom. So just drain that. They do not like the regular, the old style QCV Cornell pump. They'll pump, you can fill it full of oil, but they take it out. Automatically sealed pumps. They just mentioned fluid so much. But they do not cost. Once you get it running, the oil's in you go off your system, and it's very ammonia. Send it stop and have oil in it.
Slow that down, so.
Yeah.
All right, we ready to put it back together? All right, so Antonio up here, he's actually going to reassemble the pump. So we'll start with putting the bearings back in. What you'll do, Antonio, come over here.
Antonio is from Research, just in case
I usually
anybody
leave the
wants to
lock
know, and
just
this is
so you
gonna
get it
validate
actually
his work.
started. Try to get that started in there. It's nice and easy. It should go smoothly once you have it squared up.
So I would imagine the surface of that's pretty malleable.
On the bearing? No,
You
it's,
don't wanna
yeah, you don't wanna ding on it.
bang it on it with a deadbolt, right?
No,
Yeah, just make
it'll break easily. So you wanna press down on this bearing until you feel it seated.
Yeah.
And then tighten the set screw up. Just put a little pressure on there. Tighten up the set screw. And there is not in that manual a torque spec for the set screw, which kind of surprises me. So just plug it up. And then what we'll do is install stator. So we'll put this in through the back. So they're just like that. And we'll come over here. We'll grab gasket. Install cover. You want to be really careful with this part. You don't want to ding this on the end of the shaft here.
Didn't want to ding any of those.
No.
Access to the knowledge.
We'll go around, evenly tighten up. All the bolts here in the end.
You know how old this pump is?
I don't know. This is just one we had sitting there.
Is there a manufacturer's date on it right there?
2022.
It's been built when during the COVID special.
Yeah. And all these bolts have a torque spec, but I failed to print out the gauge that actually shows the torque spec of them. But my fault. They all do have.
We are gonna pressure test it.
That's it's a blank plan. So.
Doing good.
We're going through, are you good? I was wondering.
And then you just come around to the front here. Jacking bolt.
How many pull one?
And slide the collar. The collar right here is got tabs on it. It's gotta line up with the keyway for the impeller.
Yeah, after you help me paint those natural.
Then just go around,
In rider number
put all these bolts in.
That was it for the workshop.
It was running both
Yeah.
times I was there.
See, questions go out.
There's a Dan Flux.
The jacking bolts, the ones that are threaded. You'll see that the jacking bolts are actually the holes that have threads in the hole here. The bolts that actually tighten the bearing housing in go through the actual pump itself.
Hey Cody, is there up or down to that plate, or is those jacking holes supposed to go in a specific spot?
No, it doesn't matter. It can be either way.
Okay.
As long, the most important part is just making sure that inner sleeve
It's still in there.
is lined up with the, to catch the key. Were they already all in? Just wanna evenly tighten up these, bringing the bearing housing in together. Like I said, these have a torque spec too. I just do not have that page with me. Not very smart to go through that first.
You said we're missing the impeller, right?
Yeah.
Is there a series on the impeller?
No, so what goes on this is just another bushing here, spacers. And you'll put a keyway in, and then the impeller will come on here, And then the impeller also has a torque spec, and it's recommended by Cornell and the COQ when you change out when you rebuild this and you put the impeller back on, to actually use a new bolt.
That comes with the kit.
It comes with the kit.
Man, impeller's gonna sit pretty flush with the end of that shaft.
Yeah, there's not very much. You're looking, like I said, you'll have about 45,000 run in, run out.
So once you got it all back together with the impeller, what are you checking for? Just make sure you're not rubbing then and spinning it and see if it spins freely.
Yeah, so you'll spin it, put it together, spin it. And then what you'll do with the impeller on here is when you'll set up your gauges, you can use feeler gauges, you can use an indicator, however you want to do it. And then you'll take like something soft, usually we use like UHMW. Shim it real down real nice and soft plastic, and you just pry it and you'll watch that for the end of it. And then you push it back in, and then, check it again. And if you got too much in play, what you'll do is you'll come in, you'll take this rear bearing housing off again, pull the bearing out, put another shim in it. And if it's got not enough in play, you'll pull a shim out.
That's what's gonna give you your.
Yeah, that'll give you the run in and run out of this. So that way the stator doesn't float too much. And if it's got too much float in it, it can cause those washer parts. But this is kind of float in there. Everything's staying in its back. This guy for transportation purposes. This just keeps the shaft spinning while you're transporting it. That's it. Where did that show? It's certainly pretty quick. Once it's pumped out.
I'm guessing now. What's the name? Impeller's fucking destroyed. That's why it's not here.
What they did was they put it back on the pump that was replaced.
I'm not sure they there, but I think where I put it.
That's it.
One of the things.
No, Dan just wanted to do this one. He didn't know if we'd have time to do the two TV one. I think he's wanted to do that at a different day.
We still use those.
Yeah. Where you put the bolts in for that? Pretty easy. Anybody have questions? I'll try my best to answer. So. Perfect. That's it. And then it's definitely a pretty quick process. Oh, this part here? This is for transportation. It just doesn't let the stator spin it all in there. When you're transporting the pumps without, take the impeller off, you put this on there. And then when you get to a job site, you'll install it. It's just to protect the bearing. It's not, there's no, it doesn't have any play, any rotation at all.
Really quick. I didn't even notice anything else.
Cody?
Whatever that no one takes. Sorry, I was in there, it's not
You're good. Okay, guys. That concludes the rebuild of the pump. Anybody have any questions?
The pressure drop.
1 PSI per minute. If it exceeds that, pump's gonna cavitate. And they don't like oil. Especially in a -40 condition. Any other questions? Yeah.
You said oil makes the impeller float. What do you mean by the impeller float?
It'll move back and forth. And what it ends up doing is it gets up into the volute. And that is a machine surface, and that changes the dynamic of the pump and its volume. So once that happens, it's a replaceable insert, but that has to be done by the factory. So we send the pump out to the factory and they'll take care of it. Generally, when we receive the pumps or go and take them out of a client's facility because there's a problem, we'll do an inspection at the shop. We'll look at the wear of the volute and potentially the rotor assembly. If we see some problems that are beyond us, we'll send those to the factory, and the factory will give us an estimate for repair. My opinion is if the repair is more than 50%, I don't think it's worth repairing. I think it's better to buy a new pump, but those are the client's choices. Because they are very expensive. The second thing is making sure that we're testing the cavitation protection, the control system for ramping up and down the compressors. Making sure that the pumps don't cycle more than 6 times in one. And if they do, it has to be a manual reset. So somebody has to physically go over there and do it. I know you're gonna do it because the plant's gonna demand it, but that's what's gonna cause the destruction of the pump. So most of us have 2 pumps. Hopefully we have spare on the shelf. Yeah.
Is it the same bolt pattern for the volute as the old Cornell pumps?
So
Or is it a?
if you're going from a 2CB to one of these hermetic pumps, the selling point is it's a drop-in replacement. That's not quite true. Because we have the coolant line that has to be piped specially. And so there's some changes that need to happen. It's not just stick one of these in. They bolt up to suction and discharge. But the coolant line is different. Any other questions? Okay, Cody, thank you for doing this and we appreciate it. You betcha. So for the next meeting, I was thinking that we could do some SOPs. And if anybody has any interest in configuration of R.E.T.A quantum HT panels or a DEA Omni panel, I have units that I can bring in and we can simulate and play with and calibrate and go through the configuration of those units. So if there's some interest, we could do that.
Request the GA Omni.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Sounds good. We'll bring it on me.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
Any of you guys have any ideas that you want to recommend? Anything you guys want to see? Perfect.
All right, Anami it is.
All right.
I think Sam Ames will present.
Everybody make sure to sign when you attended. And please put in your email. No, please. I tried, it'll be better next time. I haven't done a presentation in front of anybody since high school.
Oh, shit. Oh, you may. How are you doing?
Only slide this.
That should be good.
Alright. I don't know, Dan put the bolts after this, but.
Yeah, they weren't on there.
It worked.
No.
Just over here.
Well, that is that.
Well, the front page of the back page.
Oh, yes.
All you gotta do, yeah, put the very on free,
It's going out right now.
It's me out in the hallway.
Thank you. That'll be, unless one comes up before, then.
How you doing, Shay?
Oh, you go.
That's
good.
Oh, that's
I'll follow along with that. I'll only take about
45. The city can email you.
It was foggy, bro. Everybody had warned me, it was like 5 miles per hour, bro.
I'll let Burley know, so I'll drive it. It was like 2,000 degrees, so I think from anywhere. We'll do
Yeah, I don't know where it's good, man. Yeah, it's good.
Gabe's like, I'm retired.
Yeah. Hopefully they could edit. The way that it is right now, I don't know, man, what shit going on, and you got bird flu, you got all kinds of shit going on, right?
There's fire going on.
But yeah, I mean.
Anyway,
So far, so good.
He needed to tell us over there. Really? Stop and buy, drive through?
So.
They ain't go home.
Oh, I have one. Yeah, send the hour when.
I want you to get cold, man. So I'm gonna go out soon.
For this year.
You know, I said it was left.
You're gonna be busy as anything.